What's up, everyone? How we doing today? Trying to figure out how I can see the chat. Here we go. Here we go. I haven't done this in a while, so hope you're all doing well. Just doing some practice with some arpeggios. So yeah, if you have any questions, just feel free to leave a comment below. Hi. Hey, thank you for joining the live stream today. Just doing some playing, doing some arpeggio practice. Oh, we got some more people joining now? Cool. So I'm going to just do some playing now that some people are in the stream. I don't know if I have to keep pressing this button. Hold on. Sorry about this. To see the comments. What's your amp? I'm just playing through a plugin right now. So this is a plugin from Polychrome DSP. It's called the McRocklin Suite. Very good stuff if you're interested in good tones that tend to be really easy to create, which is right up my style. I don't really like... I should say really right up my alley, because I don't really like tweaking tones too much. It's too much for me. I just like plugging in and getting my sound. The stream title said arpeggio practice. So I'm gonna work on some arpeggios today. So what I think I should do is work on some string skipping right now, because that's what I'm in the mood for. String skipping is a technique that I use quite a bit. I think it sounds a little bit different than sweep picking, so that's sort of why I use it. And it's a little bit rhythmically slightly different. So when I practice arpeggios, say we're in the key of E minor, you could play it like that as a string skip arpeggio. It's really cool, actually. And I work on this stuff quite a bit. Well, I don't really work on it. I just sort of use it in my playing quite a bit. Like, I'll even substitute string skipping for sweep picking on like arpeggios like this. So if we're in the key of E minor, and we have like 3-string arpeggios like this. Sometimes I'll just start string skipping a couple shapes like these ones. Really simple way to add some new sort of cool stuff to your playing. So check it out. Has anyone in this stream ever tried that technique? Oh, wow, I am missing comments. You actually got to press the button to get the comments to show on the screen. My bad. My bad. I thought that they just showed up when new ones were there, but apparently not. This might be a dumb question, but what would you recommend single coils or humbuckers for a beginner? What about maple versus rosewood fretboard? Thanks, man. So single coils, I don't really care too much. I just like whatever the guitar typically comes with. But if you have a choice, well, that's not entirely true. They got to be good pickups. And usually stock single coils tend to be pretty good. So I wouldn't worry too much. And I don't use humbuckers unless it's in the bridge pickup. So I use all Kiesel stuff. So this is a Kiesel Beryllium humbucker. This is a Kiesel Mark Single, another Kiesel Mark Single. Really good pickups, really good for my sort of tones that I like to get. And yeah, I really like it. So that's what I would recommend. So yeah. Oh yeah, maple versus rosewood. I like maple because I think it has the opportunity to have a little bit of that flame maple, which that's a look I really like. It sounds, or it looks good. It's really more of an aesthetic thing, but I do like, well, the flame maple is more of an aesthetic thing I like over maple, and then rosewood is more of a tone thing. I just like that deep, thick rosewood sound that you get, or ebony, or richly. I've never tried, but it looks cool. I like how it's really dark. I like a really dark ebony look. So if I'm going to go rosewood, it has to be really dark because it'll look really good. Actually, I think my next build is going to be something rosewood or ebony because I don't have a Delos that's like that right now. So that's probably what I'm going to do. And then next one will probably be like a solo with some, you know, rosewood or ebony, something like that. Something that looks cool. I got to manually look through these. So hold on. Bear with me if your question hasn't gotten answered. You're awesome, man. Greetings from Brazil. Thank you so much. How much do you practice / play per day? Probably like 10 hours per day. How's the action on your guitar? That's a question that gets asked quite often. And it's rather like this. So that's what it looks like on an average day. But with that being said, I like action slightly lower, something a little bit more playable, you know what I mean? Well, I ended up with a dominant 7th arpeggio. That was cool. Sometimes that happens. When you play a lot, you just start trying new things like randomly like that. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. 10 hours a day? Oh gosh, it's pretty extreme. But I believe that if you want to get really good at something, you got to put in a lot of time. And I could maintain my technique on way less. But that being said, you're limiting your opportunity at improving. Still, I could get away with probably 20 minutes a day. I could get away with probably playing a few times a week if we're really being honest here. But if you're looking to improve or write music, stay inspired, you should be playing a lot. In my opinion, you don't need to do as much as I do, 8-10 hours a day, sometimes even more, sometimes a little less, obviously. Not every day is going to be 8-10 hours, but that's what the goal is usually, to keep a guitar in your hand that long and work on it, you know. I don't have the hours to play 10, but maybe 3 a day. Hey, whatever works for you, but 3 hours a day is pretty solid. Actually, that's more than most, to be fair. How do you hold your hand for shredding speed? So for shredding speed, I typically will rest my pinky on the pick guard right here. So what I do is just rest my pinky on the pick guard, yeah. And then I just pretty much kind of try to create a reduced motion. So maybe try something with like tremolo picking and yeah, reduce that motion a little bit, and I think you'll get the sound you're sort of looking for. But obviously, once we get into more like string crosses and stuff, you're not going to have as easy of a time. But yeah, I would just recommend tremolo picking to get your picking speed. in order. And then one string licks, so you could do stuff like open string one string licks. So maybe like an E minor arpeggio with open strings is actually kind of like a go-to for me. So E minor arpeggio with open strings would be something like this. Then I'll try to create sort of like a pattern to get it more interesting sounding. So maybe that would be like. So wherever that was going, yeah, increase your picking speed with open string licks, and then somehow you end up playing arpeggios all across the neck. So with that being said, that's how you get there, though, is doing stuff like this, practicing stuff like this. And if you want, actually, here's a really cool way to do this, is if you use tapping, actually. I like this a lot. Whoops. In Brazil, it's 10:50 p.m. Oh, is it? Is this a good time to stream? Yep, I'm watching this on my lunch break at work. Can you give us a taster of a lick from the new music coming out? I could do that. It's not really a lick. Pretty much more than a lick, but I could show you some stuff. Do you like Vinnie Moore? I love Vinnie Moore. Huge inspiration. How was that? How do you visualize the fretboard? I use the modes of the major scale would be a good starting point. And then after you learn the modes of the major scale, pretty much you apply arpeggios to those. So say we have G major. Assuming you have all your modes down, then you start applying arpeggios to this. Then you start creating more arpeggios that are, with different shapes. And then once you get that down, there's probably more arpeggios that you missed within the G major mode. So start working on this kind of stuff. If you feel like you have it all figured out, there's probably still more to work on. So maybe try 7th arpeggios, like something like this. So there's a lot of stuff that I use to visualize the fretboard, but usually I'm using the modes of the major scale, root 3rd, 5th stuff, 7ths, 9ths, typically diminished 7ths I'm using a lot. Dominant 7ths too. Love dominant 7ths. I almost replace my major arpeggios sometimes with dominant 7th arpeggios when the opportunity is right. So if I'm just in B major, typically add that down in the 7th. So yeah, that's how I visualize the fretboard. So who is some of your favorite non-shred players? It's a good question. I'm trying to think. With some of these players might not be considered shredders, or some of them might be considered shredders, but they like have the ability to not shred. It's like it's weird, like saying like names and being like, oh, that's not a shredder, but they can shred, but just not in the traditional sense. So they don't. It's not that they can't. They just don't shred in the traditional sense, or it was like before shredding was a thing. It was just more like focused on the musicality. So I don't know. Who are some non-shred players? Let's go for like Jeff Beck. But he could still play, but he's not a traditional shredder, I guess, in my opinion. I mean, he's pretty fusion though. I mean, I'll be honest. So Jeff Beck would be a good example because he uses a lot of his fingers. So yeah, I'm thinking Jeff Beck. I'm thinking blues guitar players mainly. B.B. King would actually be another one. It's mostly blues stuff, actually, is the kind of non-shred stuff, which these guys still shred, but it's just different, Jeff Beck, great choice, yeah. Jeff Beck's great. David Gilmour, yeah, you got some reminders there. David Gilmour is great, too. B.B. King, a lot of the blues guys I really like. Because once we start talking about jazz, it sort of gets into that shreddy category because they start doing stuff like that. And I kind of qualify that as sort of a shred technique. And with that being said, Steve Morse maybe? He's a shredder, bro. That's just too much shred for me to consider him a non-shredder. If you see what I mean. That's cool. Randy Rhoads lick actually right there. He does that a lot, which is really cool. And I think he might have learned it. If I'm not not mistaken, I'm thinking that he got that from Jimmy Page. That sort of. Cool stuff. You can do that with less picking too. It's so hard to read these comments. It's because they disappear pretty fast. I gotta get a new system for this. Brandon Ellis, he's good, very good, really good vibrato, wide vibrato. It's like almost like Zakk Wylde, how wide that is. What do you think of Paul Gilbert not doing too much shred anymore? It's cool. Actually, I like some of his style. I like some of his new style. I'm going to answer a few more questions and I do got to get out of here, so. He has a lot of really cool style and tones and techniques, though. Could you send me the video from the lesson we had? Yeah, I'm going to get you that, man. Sorry about that. I've been super busy. Or I'll just tab it out or whatever and hook you up with that. Sorry. Oh, I just found a neoclassical guy that's very underrated. So you know David Valdez? I really don't actually know who that is. Neoclassical's awesome though. Those are hard arpeggios to nail. Gotta do those big stretches up here to get that right. That's like a ninth arpeggio, so you're adding that ninth sound. You can even add it here. His picking is easily up there with Badio, maybe cleaner, and he's got great note choices, and he's got a little bit of modern stuff in his playing. I'll have to check him out, man. Hi, Stratton. Could you give a specific breakdown of the picking pattern of the Buckethead / Paul Gilbert lick? Yeah, sure. So the picking pattern would be like this, I guess. Should be from 12 to 14 to 12. You do that hammer on. And actually a really easy way to do this is just focus on one note on the B string, so like this. And if you can, you know, work with that, then you probably could do this. Essentially, it's just adding that to this. You could do that triplet pattern, the Van Halen thing, too. So essentially, if you want to expand on that, then you just use that same pattern and just sort of, you know, get around the neck a little bit, sort of like this. Actually, Buckethead does that in this one live solo he did, Night of the Slunk. It was actually really cool. I remember taking that exact lick a long time ago from him. Something like this. Something like that. That's not even note for note. I don't have it down note for note anymore. But that being said, maybe we'll try it. We got 46 people in here right now. Oh, cool. There's actually more people joining right now. Maybe we'll stay on for a little bit longer. What do you look for when trying an amp out? I look for the sound of a plexi. So I'm looking for that sort of like that tube-like. And I also want that sort of rolling the volume down sound to be sort of available, because I don't like a sound that has like that super heavily noise gated sound where when you're bending strings. I don't want the note. I want the note to ring. So something without a noise gate. Well, that's a pedal usually, but maybe actually no amps really have that. But that being said, no amps have that. So what I look for is something that has the resemblance of a plexi sound, and sort of like a Mesa sound is kind of cool too. If you can get that Mesa boogie, that thick metal tone, that something that can really do that. But overall, I think I'm going for more of that plexi sound, just because if it sounds like an old Marshall, it just sounds good to me. That's what I like. So yeah. Favorite Paul Gilbert solo? You know what's a really good one is Curse of the Castle Dragon. That's actually really cool. It goes into that sort of Lydian sound. C major. Love it. But that's not my favorite. It's probably, what's it called? Could be Silence followed by a Deafening Roar. Might be my favorite too. I love that too. And also the arpeggios and Olympic are really cool. Love it. Super cool stuff. Anything Paul Gilbert solo is usually pretty cool. I mean, it's always great stuff. So I'm trying to get to these questions. It's hard to get to all of these. Well, not all the questions, but to it disappears on the screen, so I got to keep clicking it to see them. I had a JCM 800 for years, great app. Yeah, those are good. That has that super nice sound. Do you know the Jet to Jet solo? No, I know that pattern he does in the beginning, though. But let's do what I like out of. I don't know, he's doing something like that. I really don't know it. If you didn't play guitar, what would you do? I'd probably play piano. Get really good at that. I've been learning to get out of my yard sweeps, but it's hard. Bro, those are insane, aren't they? They're annoying to get down at the accurate speed, to really get that sort of really getting that down is hard. Well, actually, it's not that hard to get it down. It's really to get it clean at that speed, I guess. And then there's certain shapes in there that are sort of tough, I guess, to use. But yeah. I think it's when it goes into the augmented shape it gets hard. I stumbled upon you a long time ago doing some very impressive Buckethead stuff. There's not many people who can do it justice. Can you do some of that? Sure. I get asked this so often. It's crazy that I made so much of an impact with my Buckethead lick video or whatever, or the covers, or I don't even know if it was the covers. I think more people watched the lesson and were impressed by me doing this stuff for some reason. But yeah, there's some Buckethead stuff. Or let's try it in B minor, as Buckethead would probably play most of his licks in. So let's try something like this. There was some Buckethead, not really towards the end, but I still did that signature sweep he does, which is quite difficult, where he uses his index finger and his pinky to... It's harder to play slow. I just realized something. You don't have to click the button. You just have to start swiping and you see the comments. I just realized that. So I don't have to click this button. I just can swipe through the comments. They just disappear. You just got to click the screen. Wish I would have known that about 32 minutes ago. Do you listen to much Uli John Roth? I do listen to some of his music. And he is great. I actually know how to play the solo to Sails of Charon, note for note. Just learned it probably like 2 years ago or a year ago. It's a pretty cool solo, man. Uli is like the king of neoclassical. Him and Randy Rhoads and Yngwie and Richie Blackmore are the king of neoclassical, in my opinion. In my opinion. But also in my opinion, I think another neoclassical guitar player that's probably the GOAT is Jason Becker. So he's arguably just so good. One of my favorites. Are you a big theory guy or more of a good enough knowledge and if it sounds good, it is good, like more putting sequences together? I'm more of a theory guy, but I'm also from the background of learning just scales without applying names to them. So eventually I got the names to them, which was cool. And that was a result of learning a theory. But I would say I am a big theory guy because I think it's important to know, because it gives you the opportunity to I guess gives you the opportunity to do more with what you know. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't be able to just know how to play a major 7th arpeggio in every position without theory, I feel like. Unless you learned it and you know it well enough. So being able to just know how to do that whenever you feel like is nice because of theory. Appreciate you all supporting this live stream. Actually, we have a lot of people in for today's live stream. A lot of people have joined, which is cool. Just for me randomly not announcing it, I'm pretty satisfied with how many people are in here. I should probably do like one of those things where it schedules so all day you can see or wait. I'll do that next time. Okay, can you play the Siege Engine fast arpeggio part? I don't even really know how he does it. I'll do it on high E string. I don't even remember how he does it. I really actually don't remember what he does there. I think that's what part you're talking about. But how to get past a point where I feel like I'm not getting any faster at sweeping? Any tips? I don't know. I don't find that to be a big problem because I don't like the sound of really, really fast sweeping. I think there's a perfect speed for sweep picking. And if we're going to talk about like an arpeggio, like an E minor, like this is in my opinion, like the perfect speed. If we're going to talk fast. Any faster than that, it starts just sounding more like this to me. I don't like that sound. I like it when there's still a little bit of not too fast. I like the sound of it a little slower. So it's not something I ever worried about. I got it to a speed where I enjoyed the sound of it, and then anything faster is usually not my preference. But if you, what did you say? You have a plateau? You're not getting any faster yet. Any tips? I would say just, I don't know. You can't really practice sweep picking slow because it's not the same technique. So what I would do is try to get it to a speed you like, and then sort of maybe try the half speed, full speed method I do, where actually it doesn't really apply very good with 6-string arpeggios. It just depends on what level you're at. If you're at like 3-string level, it just depends, because actually it does work with the half speed, full speed method. Just do this. One time half speed, then one time full speed, and then repeat. Like that. That is a good approach. Actually, it's a great approach. Your videos always make me reach for the guitar. That is the goal, my friend. That is awesome. Thank you. When is the next instructional package coming out? I have the 20 licks package and it is fantastic. Thank you, man. I'm actually working on something a little bit different. I might be doing something with individual courses as well. I mean, I have a lot of material that I'm kind of ready to release, but I'm not sure how I want to do it. I might be doing something else with the courses and creating like a bigger package. I'm not fully sure what I have in store for that, or the plans for that, but there's definitely going to be some new instructional stuff, and it might be a slightly different approach to the one course model, but it might not be. Maybe I'll just release them as individual courses first. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but either way, I've been working on some new material, so I think that it'll be better than anything I've ever done as far as teaching goes, which teaching is something that I've done quite a bit over the years, so I think it'll be way better than even the course you like so much. All right, I'm gonna do some more playing now. Looking through the comments. I love that delay. I straight up love that delay. When you play guitar without delay, it's just not as fun, I'll be honest. But it helps your technique when you don't. So sometimes I just go straight up, no effects. I'll just be like, yes, sir, let's get some mistakes happening. How about E major, C sharp, and B rhythm and arpeggios musically together? So what we got here? So that would be E major, C sharp minor, B major. Okay, we could do something like that. So that would be then C sharp minor, and then B major. So what I would do is probably something like this, if I just had to create something on the spot. You could probably create something really melodic with that. What was the fancy sounding arpeggio that you were resolving at the end? I honestly have no idea. I think we're a little late for that one. This happens really often. If I'm just like not really paying attention to what I'm playing, then someone says, "What was that?" I'm like, I already forgot it, bro. Already on to the next diminished arpeggio. Sorry though. Maybe next time I will catch it in time so I can hook you up with whatever arpeggio that was, because I have no clue what I was playing. That was a really cool, interesting technique I started discovering. When you're like really relaxed at playing the guitar, this is what's really funny. Sometimes you just start hybrid picking once you get to a certain, I guess, skill level with it. I should say that you start doing hybrid picking for like substituting your upstrokes and alternate picking. It's so cool, actually. And I just noticed myself doing it there. I wasn't really intentionally doing it, just sort of practicing some alternate picking, and then I stumbled upon myself hybrid picking. Like, it was like an automatic response I got from it. It was so weird. I noticed it one day and I was like, this is actually really cool. I actually could see myself using this. But anytime I intentionally try to do it, like, it's not that clean. But when I'm not even thinking about it, it gets really clean. Like, I'm like shredding like crazy with this, like blowing through sequences, just like. Blazing through sequences with that. It's crazy. Awesome shredding. I've always enjoyed your videos over the years. What kind of delay do you use? I use a delay from Polychrome DSP. It's just a plugin. Any of the it's in the plugin. You literally click. I'll be honest, I don't even think I adjusted this delay. I just have it how it is stock, and you just turn it on and it's just boom. It's just good to go. There's like literally no tweaking whatsoever for this delay. So Polychrome DSP McRocklin Suite. Check it out if you want a sweet delay. Honestly, the pedals on here are so good they could be a physical product. Maybe Thomas McRocklin should do that. Make like Polychrome DSP pedals and just like make a physical product. Because I'd actually want one of those delays and reverbs. At the very minimum, I'd hook that up with my tube amps, and I'd be very satisfied. Love your style, man. I love your style, man. Crazy shreds. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Sounds like dotted eighths. Sounds like 1/8 dot. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't have that. I don't think that's what that is. It would be a little faster, I feel like. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Like, I'm thinking Big Sur Moon Buckethead. That's what that is. Or is that... That's way fat. That's 16th notes. Yeah. Either way. That's... I don't know what I have exactly. It's just how it comes. If you could play in any band, who would you choose? Ozzy Osbourne. It's a no-brainer. I've always wanted to be a guitar player for Ozzy. I always thought that would be like the coolest thing ever. Because, well, I do know a lot of the songs very well. But I just always really liked Ozzy. Van Halen too would be really cool. But, you know, you can't replace Eddie. Eddie's the GOAT. Like, rhythm guitar would be cool. Have a little rhythm for Eddie. Considering we're talking like pre-2020 or, yeah. I use the Fractal FM9. It's a powerhouse. You should get one. I should get one. Actually, I kind of want one. I think I might buy one. But the last time I checked, they weren't in stock on Fractal's website. But I've played them before, and they're great. From Japan? Hey, shout out to Japan, man. Hey, that rhymed. Jakey Lee, massively underrated. I agree. Very good. Very good. I'm more talking... My favorite era, though, I'll be honest, is the Randy Rhoads era. I really like the Blizzard of Oz era, Diary of a Madman. That's my favorite. And then my second favorite is more of the Zakk Wylde era. And then third would probably be Jakey Lee. Because I really like the Zakk Wylde, like Mama, I'm Coming Home. Those tunes are so good. So well written. And what is it? Did Mama, I Come Home, Zev? That really cool piano part before the solo. Love that. So good. But maybe I'm thinking of a different song from like the same year. Because they both came out in 1990. The songs I'm referring to. But yeah, Zakk Wylde, his vibrato is just so... Actually sounded kind of like his with... Okay, I'm on the humbucker position. I was going to say, for single coils, that sounded quite like Zakk Wylde's vibrato. Ever cramp up in the fingers? No. Can't say I have. Your fingering is so beautiful. Yeah, I try to use... Well, it just depends. Like, I come from the background of thinking it was good to do one finger per fret. Which I do quite a bit, but what I think is even better than that is sort of like, so if you're playing like a diminished arpeggio, one finger per fret doesn't always work. So you have your pinky at the top string like that, it works really well. So I don't always do it. It just depends on the situation. But thank you. Appreciate it. Top 3 favorite guitarists? Dang. I don't have 3 just off the top of my head that are my favorite. Probably... I can't even tell you, man. I really don't know. I could just name you a bunch, though, if you wanted. I really couldn't name specifically 3. Puts too much pressure on that. Because it could change, you know? On a day-to-day basis. Just saw Pantera live in Baltimore. Zakk was absolutely killer. Oh, wow. Zakk is killer, man. He's got that killer vibrato. I like how he does that sort of like pentatonic thing. He's like this. Actually kind of sounds like Zakk Wylde. It's actually weird. It feels weird to go that wide with the vibrato. I literally feel like Zakk Wylde when I do that. Sounds good though. But I have been known to have a wide vibrato. A lot of people say, you end your videos with the vibrato, bro. I'm like, I kind of do. But it's not like Zakk. It's a little bit, it's wide. It's different for sure. Do you know of Jeff Loomis? I do know of Jeff Loomis. Do you also like Andy Timmons? I also do like Andy Timmons. Have you ever been a humbucker guy? I have not ever been a humbucker guy. The way I'm responding to this is making me laugh, but the truth is I really am not a humbucker guy. Actually, sometimes pick up a humbucker guitar and go, this is actually amazing. And then immediately after I do it, I pick up a guitar with single coils, and I go straight up to that neck, I go, boom. I'm like, yeah, humbuckers aren't for me. I just love the sound of single coils. The tone of them is just beautiful. Super good. Cool Kiesel. Very cool Kiesel. Thank you. Yeah, this is my favorite one, bro. I don't play this one enough because it's just such a cool guitar that it's my favorite guitar, actually. This is my favorite. But you know when you have a favorite guitar, you like feel less likely to play it? It's something I have where if a guitar feels too nice, I sometimes don't play it enough because it feels almost too nice. And I'm going to stop doing that. I'm just going to play it because it's the best guitar I have and it's too nice, so I should just play it. It's almost like I'm worried about dinging it. We got any dings? Nope. I think we're good. You should get that bad boy scalloped out. Nah, man. I have a guitar. Actually, it's one of my Kiesels. Jeff hooked it up. He just scalloped one of my guitars for me when I was speccing it out. I think it was when they first offered it. And he hooked me up, man. He scalloped my guitar, and that's enough for me. I like me one scalloped guitar and no more, no less. Because if it's scalloped, I only like it for a couple hours, and then after I've been playing for like 5 hours, I'm like, bro, this is like slowing me down. So I love the feel of it. It's just, it gets annoying after maybe like an hour or two. Yeah, because you're like trying to play fast and trying to shred and chords and all this stuff, and it's just slowing you down a little bit. It's just, it's not my thing, but it is my thing every once in a while. Like when I pull out that headless guitar, I go, dang, I want all my guitars scalloped. And then 2 hours later, I go, yeah, you're right. Good thing you didn't get any of these other guitars scalloped. So that's how I feel about scalloped fretboards. They are fun sometimes, but most of the time, I use that guitar as a reminder. This is why you don't want all your guitars scalloped. That's pretty much it. But it's so cool at first because you get that sort of like really direct to the note vibrato. You get that. You just get that like immediate response there. And then you're like, dang, I want all my guitars like that. But unfortunately, I don't think the compromise is worth it because it is a compromise. The chords are a little bit harder. And I don't know, the way you press down is slightly different. And It's just different. I just like how a normal, standard, non-scallop fretboard feels. You're used YJ, he said JYM Duncan. No, I don't use YJM Duncan Furies. Fender Malmsteen you do like? I got a set in one of my Fender guitars. But the truth is, I like sort of single coils that do this. I want the noise there because that 60 cycle hum contributes to your tone. In my opinion, it contributes quite a bit. So I'm going to go for that 60 cycle hum sort of feel, you know. But with that being said, I do kind of like, what's it called? Noiseless pickups. Oh my gosh. I do kind of like them because they're super quiet, but they do come with a sacrifice to your overall tone. So they're cool though. Right there. Kind of tough. I fail on picking skill. Gotta get yourself right. Get in that practice room. Bevel picks or non-beveled? Don't remember what that means. I just like these picks. Dunlop Alltech Sharp 1.0. These are the picks I like. No other picks do I like for my picking style. These are the only things I'll use. And I don't think they're a bevel. They're loud. I think a bevel, isn't it like right around there, like supports something where you glide across the string, like the flows have them? Yeah, those are cool. And then I kind of like got out of liking them for some reason. It just felt less, didn't have that super like rhythmic feel. It's like those picks lack rhythmic feel and dynamics. They're like really good for like the like fast sweeping and economy picking, like stuff like that, like super fast stuff. But then once you start getting to rhythm and stuff, I noticed there's like a chirp in there. So, I don't know. I don't think I do. But maybe if like the right pick was beveled. He said those are non-beveled. Yeah, I don't like that. or I don't like beveled picks probably because I try them, I kind of like them, and then I go back to this, I'm like, yeah, no. Not a fan. You ever tried Tortex Flow 1.0? No, I haven't. Actually, I would not mind trying that, though. That would be cool. Because Tortex picks were a go-to for me back when I first started playing, really, because I saw Paul Gilbert using the orange ones. I was like, yeah, those are cool. But those are the .60 millimeter. What sucks is the tip of those. They aren't sharp enough. But they give you that super nice rhythmic sort of sound. I wouldn't be opposed to actually trying a different version of this, though. I just like this material a lot. Love single coils, but can't get over the sound of Fishman's as a neck pickup. So smooth. I've never tried them. But I was just thinking about it. I'd like to try them. Do they make a single coil, though? I feel like Fishman single coils would be sick to have in this. How about the blue chip pick? I like those too. Those are good. I've lost all of them though. Did you know I use blue chip picks? How did you know I use those? I haven't had one of those in like 5 years because I lost it. But they're great. They sound good. But I probably still prefer the Dunlop. I'm not even gonna lie. Aren't blue chip picks like 50 bucks? That is correct. They are like 50 bucks, but they do sound good and they're probably worth it. But with that being said, I prefer these still. How do you guys prefer the live stream angle, by the way? Do you prefer it when it's like this, horizontal or landscape mode? Or do you prefer it vertical, upwards for YouTube live streaming? How do you prefer it? Because I think this is the first time I tried it with the landscape. And there's like a setting that you adjust to make it work like this. Is this better or is it better when it's vertical for YouTube, that is? Horizontal, bro. Okay. I'll try that. I'll try keep landscape is better. I'll try to keep doing this because I had to set up the, I'm just trying to set up the angle correctly. And if you prefer it this way, I may as well just keep it this way. Because you get to see the picking hand actually better, I realize that. Because the vertical, you're just like, you're trying to get the picking in the angle all the time. And it's kind of tough sometimes. But some people like that vertical look, I guess. Everyone's saying horizontal. Oh, wow. I was actually kind of surprised. Keep it just like this. Oh, wow. Landscape is better. Horizontal, bro. Okay, everyone likes it like this. So I think we're going to just do some more like this. Ever try 7 or 8 gauge strings? I've never tried 7, but I exclusively use 8s. Yeah, I'm going to keep rocking with the horizontal for YouTube. And then the other platforms, I think, are all vertical. So yeah. Eight, as in 8 gauge strings, that is correct. Always use 8s. I've always used them for a long time. That's why my vibrato and bends are like this. I don't know why it sounds like it's such a surprise to everyone. I went from 10s to 9s and it made my playing a lot better. I bet. I bet. Now if you tried 9s into 8s, you might even notice a bigger improvement. Maybe just a slight one, maybe not a big one. Just when you get to the 8s, you get to this like next level speed. You just get to this super fast you don't have to really glide through the strings as hard. The strings are so thin, everything is so much faster. See how fast that was? He said style Malmsteen 0.8 string blend. I love those. The 8s, Yngwie 8s. He said style Malmsteen 0.8 string blend. Yeah, I love the Yngwie 8s. Those are great. Yngwie 8s are actually quite possibly the best set of strings. Just because there's like 10s on the lower strings and like the first 3 strings or whatever, one EAD. EAD has like a set of 10s or maybe 9s, something like that. I think they're 10s though. Gives you that super thick. Gives you a really thick sound. So I do like those Yngwie 8s. Show us picking skill. All right. You want some picking skill? I'll show you some. Somehow ended up in G minor. I'm not sure how that happened. What are the best string for chicken picking? I just use 8s, bro, for everything. 8s for everything. But chicken picking, if you really are going to be a country player, legit, you probably should go for 9s and 10s because you're going to get that sort of loudness in the string. If you do it hard hybrid picking, but if you do soft hybrid picking, you probably won't have a problem. I do more soft hybrid picking, like. So if you do really, you really pluck that string hard, 8s probably don't have the best sound, probably 9s or 10s, but I don't do that too much. I like a softer approach. It actually makes the sound like the intonation too. Are those Dunlop Sharps Altex? Yeah, they're Dunlop Sharp Altex 1.0 though. Yeah. Sick, I used a 1.14 millimeters. Actually, I've used those too. Those are just as good as these. Just as good as these. There's not really much of a difference. These have slight more bend now, which I don't mind. Do those Guthrie bends. Do you use any special hand warm-up stretches? I used to do that. And as I became increasingly impatient to play guitar, I basically stopped doing it because I just started warming up slowly. So yeah, I did do it for a while. I'd like massage my hands and then I just stopped doing it because I didn't see the point. I didn't think it was preventing anything. I was doing it for preventing injuries, but I didn't seem to have an issue with it. So I was just saying, I thought maybe just play some scales really slow. That's maybe better for me, but I would say should probably do some hand stretches. So do whatever you want, whatever feels good to you. Whatever you feel like is going to prevent an injury, you should do. I'm not an expert at this part, but I do know that I don't usually have any problems. That sounds very GG-like. I think he means Guthrie Govan. Huh. Play something with the chromatic scale. I do a lot of diminished chromatic stuff. That's cool. You play very well. Best regards from Brazil, man. Thank you. Shout out to you. There's a lot of people watching from Brazil, it seems like. That's awesome. Yeah, he said, I do some sort of stretch for my wrist. Yeah, I did do this for a while. I would do something like this. And I don't think it helped me too much. I kind of preferred to do this. Just massage my fingers. Felt good. That felt like it loosened them up quite enough. But once you're already warmed up, I don't seem to have the problem. But I want to get into shred guitar, but I lack discipline. Yeah, that's going to be an issue. If you want to shred, you can't lack discipline, because shred guitar requires some of the most discipline, because you got to get good at a lot of different techniques. You got to get good at alternate picking. Got to get good at probably economy picking. Probably good at sweep picking. String skipping. Hybrid picking. So, get to the practice room and yeah, or if you're in your practice room and you play guitar, you're gonna need some discipline, is all I'm saying. Because shred is basically repetition, and it's pretty hard, is what a commenter just commented, and I kind of agree, because it's a lot of repetition. Your videos are very cool, friend. Hugs here from Brazil. Hey, shout out to Brazil, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. Also, if you stop practicing, you get weak, so it's like a muscle you got to work out. Yeah, it is kind of like a muscle you got to work out. If you want to get the gains, you got to probably practice or work out. Work out. That's like working out in the gym, but on guitar, really. That's how. It's like hitting a PR in the gym. It's funny. Hitting a PR with the metronome at 120 BPM. I don't know why that sounds funny. Using gym terminology with guitar practice. That just sounds funny to me. I don't know why. Do you practice two-way pick slanting? No, but I do it. I do slant my pick in a different direction. Mainly mainly when I'm doing a certain type of alternate picking, I kind of need to do it. So like, let's see. Not when I do this. Wait, that is what I need to do for that. So if you're going to do alternate picking like this, which basically means starting with a downstroke doing this. So with that sort of a type of alternate picking, yeah, you're going to have to do some two-way pick slanting because it's going to be quite tough just being at a downward angle, going like this. Okay, there's a lot of rotation happening there. But if you're going to be doing the descending economy picking, you're just straight up upward pick slanting. You're just going to be going straight up like... Actually, I prefer descending economy picking for 3 notes per string rather than alternate. But I can't say the same for ascending 3 notes per string. I think I like alternate. I don't know. Some days I like alternate, some days I like economy. But for that, what's it called? But for that approach, for descending 3 notes per string, I prefer using economy. Oh my gosh, there's so many variations. I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say. Yeah, descending 3 notes per string, economy picking. Someone said, give me a tab for that last riff. It's just a descending E minor scale. So just Google E minor scale. And it's 3 notes per string E minor at the 12th fret like this. That would be ascending and descending economy, both together. But I mix them all up. I honestly do. Then I could do the arpeggios with the guitar with a clean sound without... I think I'm missing context here. Any interest in an Evertune bridge? No, I like a trem. Then I could do the arpeggios with the guitar with a clean sound without distortion. I don't got the full context here. I don't know what you're talking about. Is that thumb movement natural, or did you have to work on that? That's natural, because when I tried to work on it, it was a very tough thing to get down. So I finally figured out that when you're doing certain types of patterns, you're going to find that. So if you're like doing two-string arpeggios, like this. You're going to find that once you get really relaxed and at a really fast speed. So when you get at a real fast speed, you're going to get some thumb joint movement for 2-string arpeggios and also 3-string arpeggios. And ascending economy picking. And that's just about the only time I use that. And it's not on purpose, it's just something I naturally do. E 12, 14, 15, A 12, 14, 15, D 12, 14, 16, G 12, 14, 16, B 13, 15, 17, E 14, 15, 17, whoever asked. That's correct. That's correct. Is that thumb movement natural, or did you have to work on that? Yeah, I already answered that. But with that being said, that's a good technique. I love that technique, actually. I thought it always looked cool when I saw people using it. when I saw people using it, that's what actually made me want to do it. I was like, you know what? That looks really cool. I think I saw Yngwie using it. I was like, wow, that looks awesome. I was just like, how do you do this? So I tried to actually pick with my thumbs. I was like, it was just like, oh, terrible. Nothing good came out of it. And then I basically noticed myself once I started getting good at economy picking. I was like, oh, that's how it works. You just get that movement once you get to a really fast, relaxed speed. So that's pretty much it. I find economy harder than alternate. Something about the rest strokes affecting the feel/timing. Well, you're not wrong, because the timing on economy picking is quite less rhythmic, if I'm being honest. It's more of a float over the beat sort of sound, so I kind of agree with you. Alternate's a lot more of that rhythmic sound. You get that sort of... Whereas economy picking is more like... There's less accents in the pick strokes, I feel. Something I think you could work on, though. Nice. I've always been interested in the thumb wiggle like you and Yngwie do, but it isn't something I do naturally, so I wasn't sure if it was worth working on. It's not worth working on. It's just, it happens as a result of certain things you do, is what I think is a good way of explaining it. I don't even know if that came out right. It is a result of you playing the things that have that movement involved. I don't know how to explain this properly. I'm just trying to say it the correct way. Economy is easier for me than alternate. Yeah, it's an easier technique for sure. I mean, alternate requires actually a lot more effort, if I'm being honest. I also find that alternate picking is louder. That's another thing. It's a lot louder. Economy picking is much more quiet. It's really just softer. It has that. There's much more of that glide feel. Whereas alternate's a little bit more louder. I don't know. I prefer both. I really don't have a preference at this point. E flat with eights. That works. You could do that. You have really loose strings, though. They'll be really like... Yngwie uses a lot of 1-2-3 fingering. Do you do the same or use 1-2-4? For instance, intro solo to see the light. I do whatever fits the best in the moment. So sometimes I just use 4 fingers. And sometimes I just do this. I really don't have a preference. I have a very strong pinky though, so I'm unusual in that way because most people don't work on their pinky strength like I did. So I can do that if I want, but I can also do it the other way. It really doesn't matter to me. It's just whatever happens in the moment. I don't even think about it anymore. How did you work on your pinky? I played a lot of Paul Gilbert and Buckethead licks a long time ago, and then as a result, my pinky just got really good at, like, you know, this combination of your ring and your third, or your ring and your pinky and your index. So when you use those ring, pinky, index finger legato techniques like this, I can just go all day with it. It's really not even a problem whatsoever. That's what I did. I just got good at those licks, and then I practiced those trill exercises. If you want to do 4 notes per string, you can do whatever you want. How should I get back into guitar after not playing consistently for about a year? I used to be able to shred decently well and cover death songs. Just start doing it, bro. Just start doing it. Just pick it up and start playing. That's what I do. I just get inspired, start playing. And then once I'm inspired, become disciplined. And then once I'm disciplined, there's no going back because the improvement's just bound to happen. Cool. So I'm going to do some more pentatonic playing. I was in the mood for that after we were talking about these exercises. Any modern players that inspire you? Not that I can think of right now. But with that being said, I like a lot of modern guitar players. Like, there's so many that are just great. When you watch them play, you're like, wow, they didn't play guitar like that back in 1970. But that doesn't mean it's better, but that doesn't mean it's worse. It's just different. But yeah, there's so many great modern guitar players. Oh wow, we've been going for almost, actually exactly 90 minutes. That's crazy, an hour and a half live stream. Should we keep going or what? Is this a good time to keep going or should I just stop it here? So I could totally go for probably 2 hours. Keep going. I just got here. I'll keep going for a little bit longer. Going Dorian mode on them. How do you like that Dorian mode sound? Dorian pentatonic, I should say. I love your strict alternate picking. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That Dorian mode's so cool, though. Do you live stream often? I do, more on Instagram live stream, but I want to start doing more live streams on YouTube. So this is the first one I've done in a while, and I'm doing it landscape mode, but I do them quite often on Instagram, but I'm going to start doing more on YouTube. I honestly am. I'm going to do more on all platforms, but he says, advice on starting learning to improvise. You got to get good fretboard knowledge. But with that being said, use pentatonic as a framework for your improvs, and then depending on the mode, so if you're in like, just depends on what mode you're in, but if you're like in a minor mode and you're like in, let's say G minor, you use the G Aeolian scale and mix it with the G minor pentatonic. And then you could probably, get some stuff out of that. Realistically, you could do stuff like this. Really target that G note when you're improvising. Just get familiar with notes all over the fretboard, the kind of notes that you should be targeting depending on what you're improvising. Really, this is a conversation that is me trying to make it really simple, but it's more of a complex answer. You just need to get really good at learning modes and fretboard knowledge so you give yourself the opportunity to improvise in any situation. So it just depends on where your technique is at and all that. Cool, I never knew that. I'll start tuning in. Hey, I appreciate you. Tuning into the other live streams or YouTube? Because I'm going to definitely be doing more on YouTube. Because it's kind of cool having it landscape. It's actually kind of easy to read. Can you play Shawn Lane stuff? Sure. Well, actually, I don't. I should say I only know a Shawn Lane lick. I really don't know his style, my friend. But this is a lick I learned from Shawn Lane. This is all I got. I really don't know much Shawn Lane, and it kind of sounds stupid even saying that's Shawn Lane because it's just an exercise. But I love Shawn Lane. Great stuff. Great guitar player. But yeah, we're talking about Dorian mode again. I love it. Let's play Dorian in the key of A. A Dorian is awesome. Cool tonality, that scale. Dorian. Shawn was crazy with the diminished stuff. Oh gosh. He was. Just all doing this kind of stuff. not even gonna try how he did it. He was just all like doing it all the way up here with these big old stretches. Actually, I'd have to work on that a little bit more. He does a lot of augmented arpeggios too. Jeez. That's crazy. Hopefully both. If you go mostly, hopefully both. If you mostly go live on Instagram, mostly, then I'll tune in there. I'll do both. I'll do both. Yeah, he had that 24.75 scale length to make stretches easier. Oh, is that right? Is that what makes it easier? I don't know. Yeah, on Strat style guitar, man, it's just ridiculous. I thought Dorian mode was the same as natural minor. No. Dorian mode is mode 2 of the major scale. So if we have G major, and then we have A minor, Dorian is mode 2 of the major scale in the key of G. So this is what we got for Dorian mode. Has a totally different sound than Aeolian or natural minor. Even though it sounds the same when you play it like this, but when you use it in context correctly, it clearly sounds a little bit different. You're the best overall guitarist on YouTube, in my opinion. But is there anyone you think is better than you? Well, I appreciate that. But that being said, that's leading me down a path to sound arrogant if I say no. So yeah, there's some guitarists who are probably better than me. Thanks for the explanation. I don't know where I picked that up. Well, now you know. Dorian mode is mode 2 of G major. Well, A Dorian is mode 2 of G major. So if you're in, let's say, F major, then G Dorian would be mode 2 of F major. Oh wow, we've been going now for 100 minutes almost. Dang, that's a pretty long live stream. It's crazy. I'll keep it going for a little bit longer. That's cool right there. That's actually a really cool way of alternate picking arpeggios. But if you guys have any more questions, just feel free to ask. I am actually about to head out in the next 5 or so minutes. Good place online to start learning theory? I really don't know, man. I would say like a one-stop shop for theory? I really don't know. Someone said, still offering lessons. Yeah, I am offering lessons. I have some openings, actually, that I was going to announce. I haven't got around to doing that yet, but I guess I'm doing it right now. I have some extra openings. So if you're interested, just let me know. One-on-one Skype lessons are a great way to learn theory, though. If anyone is interested in theory while we're on the topic. Rick Beato is a good place to start. Yeah, he's good. Like, there's things I've seen where he's got some really good explanations of like arpeggios in those little short videos. It'll show you like a lot of stuff. But that requires you sort of, you got to really, there's no really one-stop shop I can think of off the top of my head. But you just got to search for a lot of this information, you know, on your own. But what you should learn, I can just tell you what to learn and just figure it out. So learn arpeggios, scales, modes, intervals, chord progressions, and lots of different ones, and how they all connect with each other. That would be a good place to start and learn, yeah, all this stuff. And that is a very simplified approach, but there's a lot of information in what I've just stated. Arpeggios, you learn root, third, fifth, then you get to sevenths and ninths. Scales, you get the major modes, and then you start getting to harmonic minor modes, melodic minor modes, the Hirajoshi scale. There's a lot of scales, pentatonic scales. Then learning the intervals of how and why these scales work and work with each other. Chords with how these scales work. It's really a very advanced thing if you aren't approaching it correctly. But it can be simplified if someone like me explained it to you, which I'm very good at. Is the circle of fifths necessary? I mean, I think so. I think it's pretty important. Really helps with your overall knowledge of the fretboard, in my opinion. But who knows? Maybe you made it this far without it. Maybe it's not that necessary. But I don't think it could hurt. I think if you learned it, it's definitely beneficial, and there's a lot of information to learn with it. Really help with your fretboard knowledge. Nothing like the pentatonic scale and a nice guitar. When you have a nice guitar and the minor pentatonic scale, that is so fun. Stratton, can you play Jordan from Buckethead, please? I don't know how to play it. And I think you kind of got to have the right tone for it. As in a whammy pedal, and a wah pedal, and a bunch of stuff. But I can shred in the key of F minor. That's the key it's in. And it'll give you a similar vibe. So let's try that. So that gives you the vibe of Jordan because we're in the key of F minor. So he would probably play it, improvise the solo at least live anyway. So you're getting the similar vibe here. You know what I mean? Are you playing on Archetype Nolly right now? I'm playing too, and we sound the exact same, LOL. Yo, that's hilarious. No, I'm not. I do have that plugin though. That was one of the first ones I had. I'm playing McRocklin Suite, Polychrome DSP, but that's funny. We do have that. I mean, actually, I could see that, having that sort of that crunchy sound. That is a similar. There's a similar sound. Cool observation. Maybe I'll have to check that plugin out again. I haven't played it in years, but it's good. It's definitely good. I like the Pliny one too. I have that. I think that's the only ones I even have right now. And actually, I think I have, I'm talking neural DSP stuff. And I think I have, there's like a Fortin amp I think I have. I think it's like Fortin Cali or something. Hold on, let me see what else we got. Hi Stratton, what was a breakthrough in your technique that you found really boosted your playing? You know, I never struggled with technique. So I couldn't just point out individual things like that because my technique was always good. It was always really good and never struggled with it. Unless it was like within the first 5 years maybe of my playing, and that's pretty normal. And it was still good. We're just not at the level I'm at now, or I wasn't at the level in the first 5 years as I am at now. So what the breakthrough for me was when I had good technique, like I'm saying pretty solid technique, was when I learned like more music theory. Because once I started learning more music theory, it just opened up so much more cool sounds like dominant seventh arpeggios. Made me sound just so much more pro and more better. So that was a breakthrough, is learning like a lot of theory and learning a lot of cool stuff like that. Because my technique always came quite easily to me. I didn't ever struggle with that unless we're talking, you know, in the early stages, which who doesn't? And it's not like I really struggled that much. I just didn't try very hard at learning sweep picking. I was just like, all right. It's kind of sloppy. I just didn't consider myself that good at it at the time. And then just slowly, just the more you play, like I said, I play a lot of guitar. So if something's not going to get down, it's my fault because I play a lot. So I kind of view it that way. I play so much that there's really nothing I couldn't get down if I didn't try. That's the beauty of playing a lot. You play so clean, really good. Thank you, thank you. What amp are you currently using? I'm using a plugin from Polychrome DSP, the McRocklin Suite. was a cool melodic solo right there. I like that. No any Steel Panther solos. I don't. Actually, I don't even know any Steel Panther songs. I couldn't even name you one. That's how unaware I am of that band. But I feel like people ask me about that sometimes, so I probably should know more. So, name a Steel Panther song I should check out. Any Steel Panther solos or songs I should check out. What era are they from? Are they like 80s or what? Who's the guitar player? Is there anything specific you're working on getting better at the moment? I work on everything pretty much equally. And what I mean by that is just when I play and I notice a mistake, I'm like, oh, I'll just get right through it real quick. So if I like notice, oh, my technique sucks today, I'm like, all right, just get to working on it. It's usually something that's resolved within minutes because I can tell when I haven't been practicing enough on certain things. Like every once in a while this happens, not very often, but with that being said, when you do economy picking and alternate picking, you sort of develop a muscle memory for either or techniques. So what I would say you could do is, or what I do is I just work on one at a time. And then when you get really good at both of them, then your confidence starts to rise with both of them. And then there comes a point where one starts getting better than the other. One starts getting better than the other. And then we're talking both ways here. Economy gets better, then alternate gets better. You just got to work on the balance. So what I work on is the balance of being good at every single technique all at once, because that is actually the hardest thing to do, is to be able to be a master alternate picker, master economy picker. So master alternate picking, economy picking, sweep picking, and just being an overall good picker. It's hard, man. It's hard. So getting good at all of them simultaneously is probably what I would say I work on. And it's not that I intentionally work on it. It's just when I mean by working on it, I'm pretty much meaning that I'm just playing it and I notice if there's a mistake and if I need to address something, I will do it on the spot, and usually that gets addressed quite quickly and I fix it. If there's a flaw in my technique, that is. Probably been asked many times, but how about some No Boundaries? I don't know how to play it. Never tried it. I hope the thumb joint guy was still in the live stream. The guy asking about the thumb joint picking, but I just came across a lick I do the thumb joint picking with, and that's this. That kind of economy picking. That could be worked in with an economy picking kind of thing. So, wait, what was I saying? Yeah, that can be worked in with your pentatonic. Looks like you have a sewing needle in your hand. It looks like you have a sewing needle in your hand. That's what he said. That's funny. You're talking about with the thumb picking, right? Hey, shout out to everyone who is rocking with this live stream, man. You got a lot of people in here throughout this time. I don't think everyone stayed, but we still got some people in here. That's awesome. And shout out to you guys, because this has been going on for almost 2 hours. This is probably one of the longer ones I've done, for sure. But I kind of just feel like keep going. Let me see what time it is. Or actually, I'm just going to... Actually... Can I check the time without pausing this? I'm not going to do it because I don't want to pause this for you. Someone said, "Death to All But Metal" by Steel Panther. They are a modern band that parodies the 80s glam metal era. Satchel, parentheses, Russ Parrish, is the guitarist. He went to GIT and took lessons there from Paul Gilbert. That was actually a great storytelling skills right there. Very good storytelling skills. I actually will remember that. Hi, have you tried multi-scale guitar? No, I have not, and I don't think I have a reason to. Do I? Do I play styles that need that? I think what I got is good enough. But if I did like low tunings, maybe that's something I would need to try, right? Someone tell me why I would need that. So someone should tell me. I think standard frets are good for down to... I think standard frets are good for down to A standard. Okay, yeah, I don't play an A standard, bro. I think I do D standard every once in a while. And that's like my favorite tuning, but I just like the challenge of E standard. But actually I like E flat too. E flat's great. So it doesn't really matter. I know what this is fine for me, so I don't even really pay attention to it too much until, you know, like things like that. I don't pay attention to it until I really need it. So maybe if I start really down tuning, I'll be looking more into it, but I'm pretty clueless about gear unless I use it. G sharp though, you need multi-scale? Oh wow. Yeah, I don't play in those tunings. I think the lowest I've ever gone to was C sharp. What would be after that? Yeah, that's what you would need is C sharp. Yeah. Or C sharp, then it would go C, A, B, C, D. Then it would go B. Yeah. Wait, I don't even know how this all works, bro. I don't tune this low, so I don't know how it works. And what, like, so if you're an A standard, that's as low as you can go. A, B, C, D, E. And that's as high as you can go. Okay, that makes sense. But anyway, guys, I'm going to be heading out now. So I appreciate you guys for checking out the live stream. So shout out to you guys. I'll be back with some more live streams soon. We went a little over 2 hours. So take care, everyone. Peace.